Hello everyone, my name is Jenna Brown. Welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about where to camp on Salt Spring Island and some things that you should do while you're there. So Salt Spring Island sits on the channel between Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland. There are ferries that run from Victoria, Vancouver, and some of the other Gulf Islands. So if you watched my last vlog from last week, it was of my trip to Salt Spring Island with my boyfriend Emerson, and we were gonna do this video together because we experienced everything together and it would have been a lot better, but he's away for work in the interior BC and he'll be gone for a couple months. So we can't quite do that together. It's gonna be just me this time, unfortunately, but let's just get right into it. I have to say this first because if you're gonna go camping to Salt Spring Island, you should try as hard as you can to book a campsite. Otherwise, what happened to us is gonna happen to you, and we almost didn't have somewhere to camp because we went to Ruckle Park on Friday at we got there around 2 and it was completely full, and it's first come first serve, so you just have to go there and try and get one, and you don't actually know if it's full already when you're going there because their website doesn't tell you, and there's only 10 reservable spots at Ruckle Park, so I think you have to reserve right in the morning or something because it said there was some open spots when we were going there, and then in the morning when we got there and looked, it was all full. So I don't actually know how that works, so if you want to go there, be careful about that. So first, where you should camp. We stayed at Mowhinna Creek Campground and Ruckle Park when we were there, and they were very different, but both had their pros and cons. So first I want to talk about Mowhinna Creek Campground. It was a beautiful campground right in town, about a 5-minute drive from the main street of Ganges. This was a real campground. Each campsite had a fire pit, a picnic table, a spot to set up your tent, and there was a general store there, so you could get chocolate bars, ice, firewood, and fire starter, so you didn't have to worry about going and bringing that stuff, which was really nice, or if you ran out you could just go in the store and get it. They had running water and showers, which was very nice, except for the showers you have to bring a loonie. If you watch the vlog, we had to have cold showers because we had to shower before the general store was open, but that's probably not an issue for you, but just in case you have to leave early. Yeah, running water, and it's drinkable, so they had taps where you could fill up your water bottles or get dishwater or water for boiling, and they had sinks to wash your dishes in and a little spot to do your dishes, and that was really nice. They had a playground. We didn't explore much around the campsite, but we had a really nice spot up on the hill and we could kind of overlook the whole. It was around $30 a night, which isn't so bad. But for all the amenities and being so close to town, it was really nice. Because when we called them after checking Ruckle Park, she said they weren't taking walk-ins and they were completely booked up, but we drove in and talked to her and she found us somewhere to camp, which was nice. But yeah, try and get a reservation if you can. Ruckle Park Campground. It is a beautiful campground. It's on the water in a grassy meadow in one of the largest provincial parks on the Gulf Islands. Ruckle Park is very open and it's hot in the summer because there's not a lot of shade. We were lucky enough to have a tree by our tent, but a lot of people were just open in the field and it was really warm. So how Ruckle Park works is you have to park up top and then you have to hike all your stuff down, and it's probably like a 5-minute walk. And there's a couple group campsites, I think 4, but you have to reserve those for sure. There's 10 reservable campsites, and these have like wooden pads to put your tent on, and they're kind of nice. They're in the shade in the trees. There's 78 walk-in campsites. You just have to walk up, first come first serve. If you see an open picnic table, you just have to go and run and get it because it's very unlikely that they'll be open, especially later in the day. The later you get, the more filled up it is. First one we walked up to. We found it. We are just gonna claim it as our own. And you're only allowed 4 people per site, and I think maybe that's just a COVID rule, but And Ruckle Park's a bit farther from town. It's about a 20-minute drive from the main street in Salt Spring. Apparently, when I was researching for this video, they have running water there and drinkable water. It says they have 6 pressurized water stations for drinking water, and when we were there we couldn't find them, so we just assumed they didn't have running water.
Another downside is the fresh water.
Yeah.
You really have to bring your own water for cooking, whatever.
We couldn't find it, so be wary of that in case you have to go into town and get water, and be prepared that there might not be somewhere to fill up your water. So the first thing you should do in Salt Spring is the Salt Spring Saturday markets. These happen every Saturday starting April or Easter weekend, and they happen from 9 to 4, rain or shine. And they have artisans from all over Salt Spring. They have 140 vendors. Dogs are not allowed, but the SPCA provides a dog sitting service, so they have volunteers, and it's first come first served, so they only have a certain amount of volunteers, and it's 1 volunteer per dog. So if you have a dog, you can bring it there and then go enjoy the market. My favorite vendor from the Salt Spring Island Market is the Cider Mountain Studios. They're like these wooden plaques with like images on the front. And so I got this one when I was there last weekend, but my mom gets me these for Christmas every year. So I have a whole bunch of them, and they're so cool. There's little ones. Number 2, explore Ruckle Park. Ruckle Park is one of the most beautiful parks on the island, or even on the southern Gulf Islands. It has forests, fields, and marine environments, and it's just so nice to walk around. It has secluded beaches, and there's all these trails. It's just really beautiful. We walked around there for a long time one day when we were camping that night. Number 3, you should hike Mount Maxwell. It is one of the highest points on Salt Spring Island and the southern Gulf Islands. This point is called Baines Peak, and is the highest point. You can see a beautiful panoramic view of Vancouver Island and some of the other Gulf Islands. What you're overlooking is called the Fulford Valley. And you can see Mount Maxwell from the ferry. So when you're riding the ferry, it's the big mountain that has a huge cliff face, and then it's really nice. You can't miss it. We started the hike on Cranberry Drive. There's a lot of blog posts online about how to get there and stuff, and our friend who actually lives there was showing us the way, so not entirely sure, but it is the Cranberry Drive way. It took us about 2 hours total to get all the way up to the top and back, and it was a nice, slow, it wasn't very hard, but it was really nice walk. There was a couple of nice lookout spots along the way, so that was good. You can also drive up the mountain, but it's pretty steep and it's gravel, so your car needs to have 4-wheel drive, or you just have to know that your car will be able to make it up there. At the top, there's sometimes slackliners who have set up a slackline that goes across the cliff. It is so high up, it was scary to look at. It's a crazy experience just to watch if they're there. They're so good, and they're attached, so if they fall, it's not like yeah. Next thing is to go to Salt Spring Wild Cider. This is a cidery on the island. You sit at the top of the beautiful 5-acre orchard that has various types of apples and pears. Yeah, we tried all 10 ciders for $20, and then we also got the 4-person charcuterie board. Really good. My favorite cider was the elderflower and elderberry one, and Emerson's was the dry cider. Dogs are welcome here, so if you have a dog, that's a good thing. And they're open every day in the summer, 11 till 9 p.m. The last thing you should do is you should go to Broadwell Road to watch the sunset. How you get there is you type in Broadwell Road in Google Maps, and you just drive up until you can't go any farther. There's a gate, and then park your car and you just walk for about 10 minutes. There's all these nice houses on your right, and then on the left there's an old abandoned house. We just walked down that trail there and set up and watched the sunset on the rocks. It was so beautiful. You watched it go right over Vancouver Island. It was the perfect spot. So those are my tips for camping on Salt Spring Island and some ideas for things you can do while you're there. I hope you liked it, and if you haven't checked out my vlog from when I was actually there, you should check that out. I'll link it here. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one. Bye!